Welcome everybody to Startup Grind Global Pitch Battle 2025. Hope everyone's year is going great. I would love to see here like from you guys in the chat what is up in the new year. What activities have you been up to? Some of the wins you have gotten in 2025 and maybe like some goals you set up to have this month. So I'll do a brief introduction about Startup Grind and what this pitch battle is about. Startup Grind Global Pitch Battle is a great way for all the chapters. We have had more than 1,000 applications for this and more than 35 countries participating. And this goes ahead of our global conference, which will be happening in Silicon Valley on April. So this pitch battle is aimed to promote tech startups and aiming to increase startup visibility. And most of the sponsors from the global chapter are things like Notion for startups. We have other VCs who are also checking out the startups that are applying. And basically, from this pitch battle, you can expect that you have the access to our community and also like to our partners who are partnering to us, offering different founders different things. So we also had a builder AI also participating, and they are giving out like 2,500 credits to use their application so that now you can build your MVP. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our judges. We'll start with Lara. I think Lara, we have done a partnership with her, Ubiquity, and she'll tell us how she's revolutionizing the startup ecosystem with her application and connecting people in a better way.
Thank you so much, George, and thank you for organizing this and for inviting me. I'm very pleased to be here today. So yeah, I love the energy of George. I have to say that when he heard about Ubiquity, he was very excited, and he was one of our early adopters. We launched Ubiquity in January 2024. We closed our pre-seed round now. And Ubiquity is all about human connections. We're going a bit upstream. We have no scrolling in our app. There is no ads, no media, no likes, no followers. It's all about connecting people in real life. And obviously, because we live in a digital world, we need an app for that. But the entire purpose of Ubiquity is really to connect people in real life. So that's what we're doing. And we're using also AI to nurture your connections. So we have something coming up soon called Ubiquity Magic, where we're using, AI to basically, for good, basically. It's tech for good because we're helping you to get to know, who you haven't catch up with for a while. And the whole purpose is really to be connected to your meaningful connections and wherever you are in the world. And the AI will also help to have more of nurturing your connections and so on. So Robin Dunbar is a very famous professor. He's known for the Dunbar's number, which is 150, and it's your cognitive limit as a human being to maintain stable relationships. So we say that the 150 is like your tribe. And nowadays, this number is very much challenged because we traveled a lot. We're not anymore living in a village, in the same village all our lives. We change cities, we travel a lot. And so this number kind of increases, and especially with people like us that go to many conferences and constantly meet new people. And hence why it's challenging to maintain those relationships. So we are very lucky to have a webinar with Robin Dunbar and Martin Russell, who's a researcher in diaspora. And we created this webinar called Be Human in a Digital World, which is also something we mention on Ubiquity website. So whoever wants to join the webinar next week on Thursday at 4 p.m. Dubai time, at 12 p.m. GMT, and 1 p.m. CET. I can also put the link here for later. I don't want to disturb the process of the introductions, but yeah, you're very all welcome to join us.
Yes. So with Ubiquity, I've sent like a link to join the Startup Grind Africa community. if anyone is like near your city, the app allows you to see like who is around, who you can catch up with, maybe like from friends, people who are coming in your city. You can see like who you can catch up with.
Yeah, and maybe very quickly, it's super private, so you can only let know people you want to know, like, etc. Do not worry about privacy on that end.
Yes. So our next judge introduction will be Kasia. We have had Kasia during the Startup Grind Women Entrepreneurship Month last year. So people who have been in the community know a bit about her. So I would like her to introduce herself.
Thank you very much, George, for inviting me. Thank you very much again for inviting me. I am very happy to be here, make new friends, and reconnect with old friends. I am a physician by training. I've, however, spent most of my life in the industry, in pharmaceutical, medical device industry, and generally I was typically in charge of introducing new innovative solutions to the market. So a few years ago, I decided to leave the corporate world and started working with the startup companies. So I am a co-founder in 4 startup companies right now, an advisor, a fractional chief medical officer in 1 and maybe in 2 very soon. So work with them on the everyday basis. And these companies sort of span from classical medical device like needle-free injectors through digital health, but also very interesting AI-enabled digital communication about health. So the whole variety of companies. I'm also part of incubators, a mentor into incubators in Startup Nevada, where I live, and also in MHub in Chicago. And just to tell you a little bit about my very recent endeavors, I've just launched my book. It's called Innovation Planner 2025. It's a combination of a classical planner and a workbook that provides an annual self-paced learning about innovation. And we'll put the link in the chat for all those of you who would like to see it. And again, very happy to be here. So let's move to the next judge.
Cool. Very interesting. I think many founders, love book culture. So I'm looking forward to see the book also. So the next judge, we have also been with her in past events. She's the founder of Vertigo, and I really like what she's doing with Vertigo because her main mission is to inspire founders to find what really inspires them to do what they do best in their products, how they're building their products, why they're building their products. So I'd like to welcome Irini.
Thank you, George, and it's good to see some familiar faces today. It's a pleasure to be here. It's great to see Kasia again and other familiar faces that I've met before. A little bit about Vertigo. I started Vertigo my sophomore year at Georgetown, so that was like about 3 years ago. It was an initiative based on a previous initiative called GTech. It was like a startup that I had started when I was in high school after speaking in the COP25 for the United Nations. It was like a technocentric approach on sustainability, on trying to identify entrepreneurs that both advocated sustainability but actually made investors in sustainability money. When I left Madrid and moved into Washington, D.C., I had to refer my clients to other people so that I could focus on college, and ended up starting this initiative, which is Vertigo. Vertigo started being me finding interesting people in college and thinking, wow, like I really like your way of thinking. I think that you're very awake. I think that you're a bright person. And deciding to interview them for it. Most of those people ended up starting their own companies. Completely, the whole point wasn't them being entrepreneurs, it was just them being cool. So I thought that that was an interesting sort of intuition, and I started researching the psychoanalytics of founders and of entrepreneurship, and it went on to become a source for early stage startups to raise funds and be connected to investors. And it ended up becoming a way for angel investors and venture capitalists to gain early access to early stage startups from digital nomad hubs like Indonesia, Lisbon, some here in Madrid as well. And I'm very excited to add Kenya to that list and to have interviewed George as well for it. So thank you for having me. And I'm excited to hear all the pitches and pay close attention to the motivation of their founders.
Cool. The next judge, she has also been with us in the past events. We have collaborated on various products. Basically, what she's building, I've been involved also as a speaker. So she's the co-founder of Future Generation Scientists. I think they are on a mission of inspiring the next generation of builders and change makers. So welcome, Zsofia, and give us a brief about what you're doing.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you, George, for inviting me. I'm the co-founder of FGS. Started in 2021, and our goal is to provide free education to students all over the world. So we have organized 4 online summer programs so far, where we have reached over 350 students from 26 different countries, I believe. So that's what we have been doing. And George has been coming to our events as a speaker as well, and teaching our students some very exciting things about startups and the business world. But generally, we have speakers from all fields, mostly from STEM fields. Yeah, so thank you, George.
Great. So I'm seeing I just put up the lineup for pitches. I think we can start with the energy of our founders. I think the founders will get a minute to introduce themselves. So Wilfred from Zendawa, let me make you present. We'll have Wilfred, you can be able to unmute.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hi.
Happy to be here. I'm looking forward to pitching. I don't know if I should jump into it or introduce myself first.
Yes, you can introduce yourself first, and also, are you able to share your screen?
I not yet. The button has not been activated. As he does that, I can probably introduce myself. Again, happy to be here. My name is Wilfred Chege. I'm the co-founder and the CEO to Zendawa. I'm a 2-time founder based out of Kenya, and my background is in business and information technology. And I have 8 years experience building startups.
Cool. I think now we can move on to the other founders just to break the ice, and we can maybe have a one-liner of them each, get to know them before they do their 2-minute pitch. Then we can start the pitching. Is that I think that's fine. So we can have Effie unmuting. So I'll just make her the present. So Effie, are you able to unmute your mic?
Yes, I am able. So my name is Effie Yunan. I'm from a product design background. I'm a design thinking enthusiast. So I'm really interested in technology and how it can be used to solve complex world challenges. And you'll find me reading when I'm not working. That's a bit of who I am.
Cool. We can have Maxwell from Zerobionic.
Hello. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Nice. Hello, my name is Maxwell. I'm the co-founder for Zerobionic, and I'm a robotics engineer. Yeah, it's nice to meet everyone. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jonatas Kirsch. Wait, let me activate my camera as well. Oh, that's better. So I'm Jonatas Kirsch. I was born in Brazil and made my career in software development. After 18 years, I decided to be an entrepreneur. And there in Brazil, I helped build the digital bank of the 3rd largest bank in Latin America, in a moment when Brazil is in a similar situation Kenya is now. And I see the huge potential that Kenya has, and I'm investing my time and money into the country. Thank you so much.
Cool.
I'm building Zendawa, where we are connecting tradition and innovation for healthcare resiliency in Kenya. And I'm building alongside Dr. Victor Choka, who's my co-founder and the chief product officer. He holds a B Farm from India. and has over 19 years experience in community pharmacy. And our CTO is called Vincent Chabon. He has over 10 years experience in software engineering. And the challenges that we're solving for are for neighborhood pharmacies who are characterized by operating in petrol stations. They can also be found in estates as well as health clinic. And the challenges that they primarily face are last mile delivery to their end users, pharmacy business management, as well as working capital. And through Zendawa, we have an end-to-end digital platform that is directly solving for the above-mentioned challenges through three decentralized but integrated modules. So on our platform, they're able to get telepharmacy, pharmacy business management, as well as embedded finance. And we monetize through three verticals, 1% service charge on embedded finance, 15% commission on GMV. This is through the marketplace, and 20% commission through specialized e-consultation. And the journey through the telepharmacy module is very seamless. An end user places an order either through our apps or our dedicated toll-free line. The pharmacy receives the order that has been placed. So the platform is decentralized such that the pharmacy nearest to the end user is the one that receives the order for delivery, and the third-party carrier is notified for delivery, and the process is terminated when the end user verifies that they have received their order in good condition. Currently, we're working with 820 neighborhood pharmacies, having 7,800 monthly active end users. And we are currently grossing 20,600 in monthly recurring revenue, and that is in USD. Our total addressable market is worth $70 billion, which represents the pharmaceutical industry in Africa. And what we want to capture is worth $2 billion, which represents the pharmaceutical industry in East Africa. When it comes to our competitive landscape, in terms of direct business model, we have M-Pharma based out of Ghana. They have a franchise model to neighborhood pharmacies, but we have learned and built on the success of Hein-Peters network of agents, where they just partner with the individual sellers and do not have a franchise model to it. That is why we chose not to go the franchise route. And when it comes to e-pharmacy dispensation, we have MyDawa being the biggest centralized e-dispensation player in the country. That's how we compare. And when it comes to brick and mortar, we have Good Life Stores, who have several retail outlets in major hubs in the country. Now, we are currently doing a $1 million pre-seed raise at a post-money valuation of $5 million, where we aim to onboard 10,000 new neighborhood pharmacies at a cost of $35 each. That is why we have our customer acquisition cost at 40%, and the buffer is on OPEX, CAPEX, and R&D. In terms of recent developments, we are part of Investa Fintech Accelerator, where we are creating products to enable healthcare diaspora remittances, and we're also working with Microsoft to develop AI tools to empower our neighborhood pharmacies. Thank you.
Cool.
Very impressed. Very well done. I'm just wondering one thing. So about the acquisition cost and the fact that the money you're raising, have you ever thought about partnering with insurers and, and especially insurers that have like health insurance products that are like covered by the insurance policies? So every insurers have like some type of premium insurance, and even I would say some assistance. So travel assistance from Europe, like Europe assistance and so on. They have a lot of people that they cover in Africa, in different countries that work for big multinationals. And those people actually would appreciate convenience. And for them, it would be making a partnership with this type of insurers, like more, I would say, large insurers that can, how do we say this, afford it. And it would make maybe a different revenue streams, because I'm trying to understand how you can, your monetization model and how you can maybe make this faster, easier, I would say.
Yeah, thank you for that point. It's very interesting. Probably I should just put it out that if we're able to get help with this to partner, we are more than willing. It's something that we have been discussing internally. And currently what we are working on is to partner with a social health and safety. I think it's called SHA in Kenya currently. But the problem that we've had is that there are so many internal wrangles going. They're not paying the premiums on time. So most of these health clinics are kind of not reluctant to work with them. But if we are able to get maybe introductions with other bigger insurance companies, we'd be more than happy.
Yeah. And maybe find a way that it actually helps them to make money rather than you having to pay them to onboard them. They will want to pay. You have to find out what are the USPs and what is the value proposition for those pharmacists, so you don't have to pay them in order for onboarding them, basically.
Yeah, but probably a point to note, the onboarding cost is because they don't pay us to onboard. It's because we're currently using direct sales as our main acquisition strategy. So the cost is for deployment of the sales agents to the ground.
So I'd like to confirm what I think I've noticed, that you want to achieve $2 billion out of 3 billion addressable market. Is that right?
3.2, yeah.
Yes. But what leads me to a question, which is that you plan to dominate the market, basically.
That is out of East Africa, because just in Kenya, we have around 25,000 neighborhood pharmacies, and we aim to capture 10,000. So that is shy of 40%, I might say. So generally, we're looking at a 40% market share.
Yes. So definitely a market leader. And my question is, you obviously show one competitor, but what about future competitors? Do you have any insight into, and I know it's not easy to get sometimes, but do you have any insight into the market development in the future? Because in other words, we always look at competitors that are here and now, but we really will compete with people who will either go after us, we like your business model and try to repeat it. So my question really was about how much time will it take you to get this 40% of the market? That's point number one. Number two, how will you protect against competitors?
Yeah, so we have a 2-year timeline that we've set for ourselves to be a market leader here in Kenya, and that is to capture the 10,000 neighborhood pharmacies with the raise that we are doing. That will set precedents for the larger East African community as we go after the market share in that totality. And when it comes to future competition, it's still a little bit gray, because I would have said that brick and mortars that have their own dedicated e-solution would be the next frontiers, but that model has not worked out with Good Life. They've had investments from IFC. They've tried replicating their brick and mortar stores and having an dispensation platform. So I think the next frontier would be an e-pharmacy player that is able to undercut prices. In the West, I think Cost Plus Drugs is doing really well by Mark Cuban. If they're able to replicate that model here in Africa at scale, then we'd have a real competitor. But when it comes to aggregators, I don't see anyone might be able to have as much muscle and a low entry point as us in the future.
How do you watch this space to make sure that you are up to date on competition?
I think I use several routes. One of the routes is I'm a jury member for the Global Startup Awards. Every year I'm able to get insights into the startup community and how different products are coming into the market. Apart from that, we also leverage heavily on Google Trends, where we just kind of query on what people are searching for, both from the investor perspective as well as from the consumer perspective.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good job, by the way. It's nice to see a company that's growing so fast and has already a very nice revenue level. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Cool, Irini. So we have 30 seconds for your question. And now when founders pitch, it will be like 5 minutes question time from the judges.
Okay, it's a very short question. I was just interested in what brought you to this point? Like, you said that you had 8 years of experience in the startup world. Was it always within healthcare? Like, what sort of motivated you to start this startup?
Okay, sure. So I had a previous startup that shut down during COVID. I think I ran with it for the last 6 years. What we were trying to solve for was for students. So we were trying to create a student-centric marketplace. If you've been to Africa during opening, it's normally very chaotic. It's normally a 3-day for all students to return to school. So we were trying to kind of create a platform where the students would shop and then get their belongings delivered, have their shopping delivered directly to school. So kind of create some sanity in the retail space. But COVID hit and there was so much uncertainty. And then around the same period, my co-founder was looking for a solution, a marketplace solution to be able to dispense or manage his physical community pharmacy that he has. And it actually sparked a very interesting conversation that the current player who's in the market, MyDawa, was not, covering for that. And so many pharmacies were struggling with how they're going to manage their online sales. And I thought that this could be a very interesting thing to go into. And we kicked it off in 2021 and got registered in 2022. And it's been good so far.
Cool.
Thank you.
I think that was a great introductory pitch. Now we'll have our second pitch from Effie, the co-founder of Kilele Health.
Hello everyone, so I'm just going to start. My name is Effie Yunan. I'm from a product design background, and a few years ago, I was informed that my mom had been diagnosed with diabetes and hypertension. And because of that, I needed a way to remotely monitor her health from all the way here in the city. And because of that, we did our research and we found out that 8.5 million Kenyans are suffering from diabetes, hypertension, or both. A large number of these people live in rural areas where they have limited access to healthcare and healthcare equipment. They usually have to walk long kilometers to access this healthcare, and it usually leads to diabetes usually leads to hypertension, which usually leads to heart conditions, and it can lead to loss of lives. Our solution with this is the Kilele bracelets that are able to gather the information on patient vitals and convey them directly to caregivers or doctors, enabling remote healthcare. It's also on a Lipa Pole Pole model. This means they can pay as they use the product. Our market size is 71 billion. Our serviceable market is 523 million, and our obtainable market is 52 million. It's the perfect time to bring this to market because NCD cases will double in Kenya, and wearable tech users will also increase by 27%. Our business model involves subscriptions, direct sales, and bulk distributions through NGOs and healthcare facilities in the area. Our competitive analysis involves Fitbit, Apple Watch, and other healthcare bracelets, and none of them are inclusive towards all skin tones, and we also offer a direct-to-patient focus. We are also very intent on data privacy and security, and this is done through adhering to the Kenya Digital Health Act 2024. Our traction mainly involves HealthX. HealthX is a digital health company that has 2,500 plus patients, and we've also, as of today, gotten a potential partnership with Equity Afya, which serves around 3,000 patients in Kenya who fit our demographic. The team is Effie Yunan, a product designer, Daniel Olwatch, a medical researcher, and Elvis Gitau, a hardware and IoT expert. Our ask is $25,000 for product development, marketing, and operations. Thank you.
So cool. Any questions from the judges?
Yeah, maybe me quickly. So, sorry, what's your MVP at the moment? Like, what have you been able to build anything like an app, or what is it that you're trying to build exactly? Because I'm guessing you're not trying to do the device, right? The device you're going to use third-party devices.
We have a fully functional app that can be integrated with existing devices. We are figuring out how to integrate it with Apple Watch and Fitbit and the others. We have also built a minimum viable product for the bracelet.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so you're raising, when you're saying product development, when you're saying you're raising, it's for what exactly, the tech or the device?
The device, the tech, the software is almost done and it's taken care of. We are raising for the device.
Okay, and you will have enough, like $25,000? Like, what can you do with the device? Like, how many devices can you get with that?
For those, we are able to build around 1,000. We want to build devices that can serve around 1,000 people, but we haven't really. It will all depend on the cost of bringing it. As at the moment, we have the challenge of miniaturizing the parts. The cost of that will really affect which products we come up with, how many products we come up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe try to find this out, because when you're pitching for investors, like you really might be a bit challenged on that point. So try to find out exactly, and also try to find out if doing the device itself is really needed. Maybe you should focus on the app, on the solution, and selling to the, again, insurers. I used to be in insurance and in health tech, FYI. That's why I keep on bringing that on the table. But it's really this type of model that, for instance, Vitality has been doing in Vitality Discovery in South Africa, or Vitality in the UK, or in Europe, and so on. Like, if you go after what their model, you will understand that you can actually be very interesting for insurers because you do prevention. So try to find out your what would be your strategy in this case, I would say. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
So I have a question. So you mentioned that you want to focus on hypertension and diabetes, right?
Yes.
So what metrics can your bracelet track that can help with these problems, and that what data will you give to the doctor? I'm not sure I understood it. You mentioned the skin tone issue with the Apple Watch and the other devices, but I know that, or I think that's mainly just the issue with the pulse oximeter in the watch, not anything else. So what can your watch do?
So first of all, the vitals that we measure are heart rate, blood oxygen levels, and we're also focusing on other vitals that are usually checked in hospital when the patients go to hospitals. So these are like BMI, heart rate. So with these vitals, if the patient is able to monitor these vitals from home and send them to the doctor, so that means they don't have to keep going to hospital all the time. So one of the metrics we'll be looking at is the amount of hospital visits. With Kilele, they're going to reduce by around 70% because the patient doesn't have to keep walking to hospital every now and then. And the hospitals are really quite far from them. So this is going to be saving them a lot of time and energy, and also the money. It's going to be saving them a lot of money. Yeah. And when it comes to the pulse oximeters, we are going to make sure that our error rates are lower because the devices that are currently in the market, they've been reported to have a lot of errors when it comes to measuring the vitals. So we aim to have an inclusive product that is able to work on all skin tones so that this matter is reduced. We also have a different value proposition. We're also serving people from a lower income level, people who can't afford Apple Watches and Fitbit. These are people in rural areas who don't have the finances to do so. So for us, it will be on a Lipa Pole Pole model. This is a pay-as-you-use model. So the more they use the product, the more they'll be able to pay us so that they don't have to come up with the money upfront. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But so, for example, there is the Xiaomi, what is it called? Like the Mi Bands, I believe. I think they're pretty much the cheapest. So they can also measure heart rate. Like, I don't understand what's your competitive advantage with this watch exactly, because the pulse oximeter, but I'm just not getting what is the selling point in the watch.
Yes, so this watch will be able to give everyone a chance to be able to monitor their vitals. We have around 5 million Kenyans in remote areas who can't afford smartwatches now. With Kilele, anyone will be able to have a smartwatch, regardless of where they are and how much they can pay. We are going to have partnerships with NGOs and healthcare facilities in the area, and also insurance agencies, so that we'll make sure that everyone with an interest in these devices can get them from Kilele because they can't afford the others.
Just quickly going off of what Zsofia said. So it looks like it's going to be sort of a public-oriented or public sector-oriented product. Do you have more information on like the strategy that you're going to follow in order to get that to people? You said that you'd partner with NGOs, and I can't see the other slides right now. But could you maybe offer us a little bit more depth on what the strategy of partnering with NGOs and charitable initiatives look like that would allow for everyone or more people that don't have access to that sort of health tracking to get it?
Sure. So as part of our initial research, we did a design thinking exercise into the areas that are affected by these problems. And one of them is Homa Bay County. And Homa Bay County has a one hospital in the area. So we are going to use the scenario of Homa Bay County to represent maybe other rural areas. So it does have one sub-county hospital that patients usually have to walk long areas or take matatus to get to. Matatus are like public transportation, and this is a lot of money and time, and these are sick people. You don't expect them to be worried about how will I walk to hospital and such. So the people who are here usually just forget about it and ignore their medication until it gets worse, until it results in very bad consequences. So what we plan to do is once in 3 months, NGOs like Medicine Sans Frontiers, I hope I'm pronouncing it well, Doctors Without Borders, they usually come into the area and offer free medical camps for everyone. And a big chunk of the population usually only goes to hospitals at that time. So if we partner with these organizations, we can make sure that when they come to the hospitals, they are able to recommend this other new solution to them. So that way we won't be changing their behavior, because behavior change is really hard. So we won't be changing their behavior. And we are also working with community health volunteers. These are people who are assigned to go to individual houses. The government has noticed this problem and is trying to assign community health volunteers to go from house to house so that it can reach the people who can't go to hospital to get their healthcare checked. So we're also going to work with them, and we're also going to use word of mouth, because these are people in rural areas. So they don't have access to mostly to the internet or other devices. So mostly the information comes from word of mouth, and that's the only way they can trust us to take care of their health, because healthcare is very sensitive to everyone. So we are going to use word of mouth, community health volunteers, and NGOs and CBOs in the areas, and also healthcare facilities.
I think Kasia also had a question.
I actually have a quick listening to all these questions and answers, which I had wanted to ask you most of these questions too. I actually have a recommendation. I think you should get into much more details on your strategy on these slides and also on the competition. I think that the devices that you mentioned are just some wearables, but we are competing with applications as well. So not only direct competitors, but also alternatives should be on your slide. And you need to get into much more detail about this NGO or kind of public health type of strategy, because if an investor hears that it's a cheap device for rural population in Kenya and you compare yourself with the Apple Watch, an investor will invest in the Apple Watch, because the investor doesn't understand. If the investor doesn't understand how you will make money, the investor will not understand how they will make money. So you need to put it on the slides. That's my recommendation.
Explain exit strategies, especially given the project.
Yes, exactly. Think from the investor perspective. How do you convince them that they will make money of you?
You know, I worked on a tender a few years ago. It was from the Singaporean government, and they were doing this type of using an app and a device and making like a public health to get people healthier and so on. And it was requiring different people. It's very difficult to want to do all this in one, like having and the device and having the app and the distribution and finding the funds. Because if I were you, I would just drop the device. You have enough devices that are very cheap, that are in China, that you need when you need in masses, when you need many, you need to, you're going to burn a lot of money. And it's better to go for a very cheap version that are there ready, and you just have to ship them. And that's it. I mean, food for thought. And also think about checking the Aga Khan, because I know that they love to do things in Africa, and check if they wouldn't be supporting this type of things, because also I've been I kind of know that they kind of like this type of thing. So you should, without saying too much, you should check around also that.
Thank you.
But good luck. And it's great to do this, and prevention is very important. And I'm sure you will find the support, but you just have to find the right model on how to do this, and not spend energy and time and money on things that, you should basically, by avoiding them, you would go faster in your project.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Great. Before we bring on our next speech, I'd like us to have Moses Leach from Investa Farm. Actually did not have a chance to say hi. And also Moses.
Hi everyone. My name is Moses Chien. You can call me Moti TH. I'm the CEO and co-founder in Investa Farm. I have been in business for 12 years now. A serial entrepreneur. So I've founded other companies as well. Some have been successful, some have failed. But yeah, I generally love building companies and helping solve problems in Africa. Thank you so much.
Great. Now we are going to go to our third pitch. Our third pitch is really cool. I've met with the founder, Jonatas. He almost missed today's pitch event, but we are lucky we found him and he had time to avail himself to this pitch. So, Jonatas, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, George. Do you see my screen, my pitch deck?
We can't see your screen. Are you able to share?
Perfect. So, first of all, Kenya has a huge...
We are not able to see your screen.
You cannot see my screen. All right. Now I think you can see, right?
Yes, now it is visible.
Perfect. So, first of all, I want to say that Kenya has a huge potential. My name is Jonatas. I helped build the competitor of Nubank, currently the fastest growing neobank in the world. And I think I see a lot of opportunities in Kenya. Brazil, when I made this, it was 6 to 7 years ago. Brazil was in a similar situation Kenya is now. And I see Kenyans want more from financial solutions. There are high fees for anything. No place where to find aggregated promotions from small merchants, no ways for small merchants to promote themselves. Only the big brands have a chance. People cannot transfer money to abroad, and less than 7% of Kenyans use cards. So we are offering, what is Tiers? Tiers is a wallet offering fee-free peer-to-peer transfers, promotions from small merchants. We enable merchants, small local merchants, to enter promotions in the app, and we display them to the customers so they can save money every day. And we support transferring money to and from more than 20 countries across Africa. And also, we will develop virtual cards soon. This is how the product looks like. We launched 4 months ago. There are approximately 100 customers experimenting with the app, our early adopters. And so here's how it looks like. There's the e-wallet. Then we already support local transfers. We support transfers to and from M-Pesa. We can also do payments to till number, pay bill, bank account, or another Tiers account. We already launched the business account as well. And here's how the promotions look like. Promotions can promote themselves and customers can vote whether or not the promotion worked. Soon we will launch this year accounting sites and international transfers under development. And later on we'll launch virtual card, savings account, loans from partners, pay via QR code, insurance, and many more. We earn money when businesses want to boost their promotion. They want to rank the promotion higher on category or general level. We will earn 1% on international transfers, 0.25% fee on payments, and fee on transfers to non-Tiers account as well. Also, we onboard 5 million active customers, and we can earn up to $6 per year per customer. We are talking about 30 million in annual revenue projected by 2030. And just in Kenya, we have potential to obtain a yearly revenue of $192 million with 32. Also, we onboard 32 million customers in Kenya. These are the people who have a smartphone in Kenya. And we may expand to other countries as well. How we differentiate from our competitors? We are developing promotions is a unique feature. Nobody else is doing international transfers. Nobody is in this field. We already launched the business account, and we offer fee-free peer-to-peer transfers. We'll offer soon. So not all of the competitors or players are doing this in the market. We also compete with company backed by Y Combinator, but we have several unique and key unique selling propositions here. How we are going to market. Currently, we already have 2,000 followers in Facebook. This year, I myself injected around $60,000 in the company, and we are aiming to grow to 10,000 customers this year. Our customer acquisition cost last year, during this 4 months, was $4.85, but we are projecting $2.58 this year. And we are counting with user-generated content, social media. We are doing a lot of noise in the social media. We are self-funded so far. The technology, we have technology ready to scale, already launched our app, and we built our own KYC tool as well. We are already approved by the ODPC as data controller and data processor, and we are now in process to start the documentation, start the process with the central bank. We are pre-revenue at this stage. Our team is very experienced. I already presented myself. Victor led several operations in transportation companies and also in fintechs in Kenya. And Mayra is our marketing lead, has an MBA in marketing. We have social media in Kenya. We have developers across in US and Brazil and also in India. We are raising $400,000 proceeds to enable our team to work full-time. Our team cannot work full-time at the moment yet, even though we had this traction. I'm proud of what we've done so far. But I want everybody to be able to work full-time, and then you're going to get a lot of traction. And we're talking about at least 120,000 customers, 10,000 merchants, and this will support us for 18 months. We'll invest into marketing, infrastructure, product development, customer service, and business insurance as well. Thank you so much. Here's my data if you want to contact me later on as well. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you very much.
Any questions?
I can start with a quick one. Maybe just to say first, congratulations. This is like a journey to basically make everything, put all the bricks one on top of each other to make it successful and to build a successful business. So well done. I would say that, do you know The Loft in Luxembourg?
Sorry, who?
It's called The Loft in Luxembourg.
The Loft.
I will put you now the link. I think you should go for, and because you're a fintech, and unfortunately, I'm saying unfortunately because I can only see fintech like being the ones that people invest a lot in, right? Because it's sometimes a product that is in a new market and it has starting at the right time with the right team and everything, and it's just like a recipe for success, right? So hence why what I would do if I were you is to basically watch The Loft, because they can actually 400K for you. And I think that's very simple. I will put the link now, and I will let the other judges ask their question in the meantime.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
First of all, I really like the solution, Jonathan. I think it's great. You say that we are pre-commercial, but you started having some traction already, which is nice to see. And I especially like the fact that you do have a clear go-to-market strategy. I think that's important to have in a deck. And I'd like to ask you the same question as I asked the first Zendawa, which is, how do you watch future competitors? Because the current competitors, we are clearly better, but companies will come to the market looking at the same current competitors and will try to be better. How do you watch the market trends and future competitors?
It's the same question George asked me when I was in Nairobi a few weeks ago. I said, look, you can think Kenya had a transformation because just 6 years ago, Kenyans couldn't transfer money to their relatives. Right. So I think that I see that the transformation is yet about to get started. How people transfer money in Kenya? You have to give your phone number, first of all. You can think it is convenient because it is mobile money. For me, convenience is when you do this. You just do 2 taps here. This is convenient. This is convenient. So I think the transformation, we are starting the transformation this year. And I'm not the only one here. There are more fintechs coming to Kenya.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of good things happening in Kenya from this year on. The transformation didn't end. It's still about to get started. And then you have, like, for example, as I mentioned, less than 70% of the population use cards. We'll introduce virtual cards also. There's a lot of scams in Kenya, a lot of scams. So, and how can you protect yourself? Look at our blog.tiers.app. We are raising financial literacy as well. Nobody else is doing. Now, what they are not doing, big players, for example, they don't need to do it. They are well positioned already. They sponsor soccer teams. They don't need it, right? But that's how we come with innovation. There is a lot of space to innovate in the positioning of our product, how we sell it, how we with everything. The app, how the app looks like, how we are positioning also we are thinking on how people will have a better control of their finances in the app, because currently how Kenyans check their transactions list? They scroll through the SMSs that they received containing the balances and everything. So we'll provide a nice look and feel, a good experience for the customers. And then we'll get one by one. These 2,000 followers in Facebook, they came from word of mouth. Look at our statistics in Facebook. We didn't invest in ads. So I think we'll have a lot of traction, mostly from word of mouth, because the product is good. People want the product. People don't want to pay transfer fees anymore. How we make money? We make money when people spend, not by the simple transfer. And I said I'm from Brazil, but I currently I'm living in the Netherlands. If you think in the Netherlands that you are gonna pay like transfer fee here from an IBAN to another IBAN, that's an absurd one of this. Oh, come on. So I think that there is a lot of, again, Kenya has a huge potential. I'm investing my time and the time of my team, of our team, into the country to serve the Kenyan people, because you'll see we are starting a transformation. Does it answer your question?
It does answer my question partially, because you really told me how you build the barriers to competition, right? How you want to build a sort of a perfect product. But that's fine. I think at this stage it's probably fine.
Quick question. You mentioned you needed 400,000 pre-seed, or just 400,000 in investment. Are you looking for any investors in specific? Are you focusing on angels, accelerators, VCs? You mentioned you have a lot of objectives for literacy and higher control of like your consumers' financials, or their own control of their own financials. Is that something that you're looking for when choosing an investor? Is there any equity that you're going to give back?
Yes,
Investors invest in the product.
So that would come with an equity of approximately 12.5%, so meaning a valuation of $3.2 million. Type of investors, best investor in this case at this stage are angels and accelerators, of course. What ideal investors would be those who know the market or can help us somehow. They know the market, or they know how to get more traction. And I'm also concerned about building a sustainable business. The company must be profitable. So founders or former founders or investors who walk this path will be very welcome. I'm accepting all of the help. I need help.
The license your product is sitting on, like what type of license you have in order to allow the transfer?
We now need the PSP license, payment as a payment service provider.
So you need it. You didn't buy it yet, right?
We need it, or we can launch under the umbrella of a bank with a banking license. We partnered with a bank in Kenya, and the papers are not signed yet. I cannot review everything, but we'll launch this year under the umbrella of a big bank in Kenya.
Okay. If I can just give one advice, is like at the end when you finish your pitch, do not say that you're just raising for full-time team, because it looks like $400,000 are just thrown into the salary of the team and that's it. So it's better to say, if you have like specific licenses you need to get, if you get the license, your valuation goes up drastically, because not everybody gets licenses and do the effort to go through it. So check about what are the things that you can get that brings value to your company, so your valuation can go up, but also not like, mentioning it as now we need a team full time. It's just advice if it's okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No worries. And I put the links of the loft on the chat, so you have it.
Thank you so much.
And I can introduce you as well if you want. Okay, sorry about that.
Thanks for the feedback.
I have one question, but it's a bit broad. So do you know Revolut?
Yes, of course.
So I assume that it's not available in Africa or in...
No, it is not.
Do you know why it's not? Like, is it just too small of a market for them, or is there something else?
Revolut, I don't know, to be honest. Revolut has a license in Lithuania, if I well remember. They are very well present in Europe and expanding across Europe. they have ambitions in Europe. I don't know if they have ambitions to go to Africa, or if they would be willing to invest in company or in neobanks like us, Africa, or put their foot in Africa. What I know is that companies like Nubank are already baking a few or investing in a few startup companies across Africa. So we will see. But the market is not consolidated yet.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's a lot of space. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck for everything.
Cool. I think we are going to go to the next pitch. So Maxwell from Zerobionic, you can unmute and the stage is yours.
Hello, I hope you can hear me. My name is Maxwell from Zerobionic, and at Zerobionic we are enhancing accessibility in our systems, that is in our schools. So for the last 2 years, I've been a robotics mentor in Kenya, and essentially what happens when we go to these sessions is that I was paired with a group of students, and at one point I realized that these students were not following up since I was mentoring robotics. So there were a lot of technical words, a lot of jargon. And one funny thing is that their translator was equally as surprised as the students were. And so you realize for these technical STEMs, technical subjects or technical lessons, they're only segregated to the general few, that is, they are left out. That will explain why I can bet you've not interacted with a deaf doctor or a deaf engineer or say a deaf pilot or have you. So, for example, in the space we are in, is there any special person and why is he or she not around? So, essentially, what Zerobionic is a two-part remote learning system. That is, the trainer from one end speaks, that is mapping face and audio data, and this is converted to a robotic prosthesis or a exoskeleton in one end, and this is now understood by the student and vice versa. So for me, who is an engineer or a robotics teacher, I'm able to communicate with students, for example, in Germany who are, say, deaf, but then remotely and vice versa. So we are pioneering remote learning for students, for special students in Kenya and East Africa as a whole. And the system is essentially divided into two parts. So what we started with was a basic arm exoskeleton, and now we are advancing to have a body exoskeleton to increase the number of signage that there are. And then the basic arm prosthesis essentially goes for 380 pounds per piece, and it's split into two models. So there is the software that is commanding the prosthesis. So think of it like this call that you are in, but then now for special students. So these students are able to be taught these STEM courses, and then it has images or video references as I speak in real time to reinforce what I'm saying. And so we've had our first release of the robotic exoskeleton this year for a tech conference here in Kenya. And to date, we have raised 30,000 MVP, and we've done over 78 pilots across Kenya. We've done 4 pilots in Switzerland, and we are currently training 4 schools in Lausanne, Switzerland. So we are currently raising 100,000 for our pre-seed round, and to date, we've raised 15,000 in lab equipment from Bamboo Labs and NVIDIA, and 6,000 in partnership from a local organization in Kenya called Young Scientists Kenya. So these 100,000 is basically going into fine-tuning the SciML model that we're coming up with. At the moment, it's purely fine-tuned to robotics. That is, I'm able to teach and then interact with students remotely just in robotics. But then STEM is a broad topic and a broad perspective. So these are one of the areas that we're currently looking to expand on. And in this year, we look to encompass 25 more schools in East Africa, which essentially has been our primary target. And so that being it, Zerobionic has been recommended by a number of global organizations. We've received accolade from NVIDIA and currently in partnership with the Global Learning Council. And we are currently incubating at IBS Africa in Nairobi, Kenya, and Young Scientists Kenya is our pilots partner. So thank you so much for your time. In a world where communication barriers still exist, many students are denied equal access to education, especially in STEM fields. This is partly true for deaf and dumb students who face unique challenges when learning subjects like robotics, engineering, or Internet of Things, or yet chemistry. That's Zerobionic we are designing. Thank you.
Well, very impressive work with a great purpose. If and very impressive number of pilots already achieved. So really, really good. So from the 300,000 so far, how much have you raised? Are you just starting your round?
We from the 300,000. We are currently raising 300,000, but we've only secured $65,000 to date. That essentially we've raised through our first and second round. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, 300,000 rounds. $300,000 is still your pre-seed, or it's your pre-seed, right?
Yeah, it's still a pre-seed.
So, and from the 300,000, you already raised 100,000. Are you raising in total? How much are you raising in total in your pre-seed round? Is it because if it's
4,000?
Sorry,
we are raising 300,000 in our pre-seed round, but we've already secured 30,000 in our first angel round. This pre-seed round we were doing at the breakdown of $100,000, but to date we've secured $65,000 in our pre-seed round and $30,000 in our angel round. Yeah.
Okay. So if I may also give a feedback, if that's okay, just make sure that you put those, like you make clear how much you have raised, how much is left. And also, if I'm not mistaken, in this amount you raised, you have NVIDIA that invested as well.
Yeah.
Which is extremely impressive. And you shouldn't put the logo of NVIDIA after. You put it just right there, because you show that they have supported you, which is a great, gives a great credibility, because it's very well done. And so, yeah, it's you have a very specific type of you are robotics and AI and deep tech and so on. So, but you're bringing on the same time purpose and impact, so you really can tap into those two angles as hard as you can, because there is a beautiful impact angle in what you're doing, and which is very important. So I'm sure you can also get grants as well. So it's time to apply it to the maximum of grants, because also grants means free money, no equity in it.
Thank you so much.
And sorry, it's not my expertise, so I cannot really bring more more to that. Yeah, I'll let the others asking any questions.
So Kasia has a question. Let's put it to 30 seconds question so that we can move on to the last pitch of the night.
So I'm sorry, can I ask my question, or should I?
Yes, you should.
I am curious what data you are collecting from this all these pilots that you are doing, which I also find very impressive.
So primarily in the schools that we visited, we are using facial and sign data. That is from the special students. We are building it from the knowledge they have on the sign data. That is, while interacting with them, we have signed consent of collecting training data for the students. So it's facial mappings, not the face exactly. As you can see in one of these images, facial points that are being collected. So just to increase the accuracy, we've been using different faces over time. So it's facial and sign data.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just very quickly, I want to say that it's a great project, and if you could please drop me a line, I will send my email in the chat, because I think it would be great to have a longer conversation.
Cool. So I think this is the last pitch of today. So Moses has just done his presentation a few minutes ago, and he's the co-founder of Investa Farm, and they are revolutionizing funding for agri-tech through crypto. So Moses, we can take this.
So Investa Farm started out of my own experience, having lived in a single family with my mom, as this all our family, and relying on farming to basically help us with the budget and everything around. We struggled for most of the time because she wasn't able to grow her farm, and the reason as to why she was not able to grow her farm was if she tried accessing the loans, she would always be rejected. Number one, because she didn't own a piece of land, which most women in generally Africa don't. Number two, the interest rates were very high, so we couldn't afford to repay most of the loans. So we ended up in debt, and that was an experience that for a long period of time until Investa. So the agricultural and then the entire agricultural workforce. Maybe you can just go to the next slide. The entire agricultural consists of 70% of women, and these women, just like my mom, don't own pieces of land, so meaning they cannot be able to access capital, and they are generally left behind when it comes to financing for most of the banks and other financial institutions. So what we do at Investa Farm is we provide access to interest loans that leverage on data and stable coins to provide access to finance to in farming. So next slide. So the way our loans work is women apply is B2B2C. We either work with groups of women in circles or groups of women that are already part of an agribusiness. We enable them access the loans through our platform. The loans have zero interest rate. We have insurance to it in the sense that if they are not able to pay, generally get an input from the loan they took, then they're able to, the interest rate is able to recuperate the loss. Next slide. Next, George, next slide. Okay. So generally, that's generally how it works. We onboard women from agribusinesses. They access zero interest rate loans from our platform. We're looking at a target market of around 6 million farmers in Africa, and 70% of that entire workforce is women already. So we work mostly with women. Currently, we're incorporated in 2 countries, so we are operational in the UK and Kenya. We're also a portfolio company of Startup Bootcamp that's in Netherlands, so and also part of Microsoft for Startups. We work with different partners as well here in Africa and also in the UK to provide access to these loans. We've won different awards as well. Okay. Fine. Thank you so much. Yeah, so maybe next slide is the solution slide where we provide zero interest rate loans. Where we get our money from, so we connect these women with stablecoin lenders from around the world. So our platform enables us to list different women groups doing different agricultural projects. We have stablecoin lenders who offer their stablecoins at different interest rates. We sell women data, so the farm data and every farm report, commercial providers, and then that's the amount that we use to repay back the interest. We get a percentage to it, and then the lenders also get a percentage to it. Yeah, so this is generally how our platform looks. We have the different groups listed on the platform. We've been operational for 2 years now. We have over 100,000 women onboarded, currently active, receiving loan. Next slide. This is the market size. So the agri-financing space is rapidly growing. So when we started, we thought that we only be giving loans to women that need money, but we've found that even more women that have money would still need more money in terms of growing their farms and all that, and owing to the fact that our loans are also zero interest rate. Next slide. Yeah, so this is impact so far, 100,000 farmers onboarded. We have 2,000 plus crypto lenders. We're incorporated in both the UK and Kenya. To date, we've given euros in total loan value. We've received grants, angel, and VC funding from Startup Bootcamp, and different partners as well. Next slide. So this is my team, wealth in the bank and knowledge wealth in the entrepreneurship. With my co-founders having worked with different farmers, part of my team also having worked in the blockchain space. Next slide. So for Startup Founders Hub, we're a portfolio company of startup. We work with WIGA, Kenya National Chamber of Commerce, Labs, Shamba Shaper, Plug Mtaani. Next slide. Yeah, and using 750 for our pre-seed round, we've so far raised 150 of that. Our lead investor is Startup Bootcamp and ALX Ventures. Yeah, and then next slide. Across different, join me as we enable more women get access to financing for their farms. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries. Who wants to start with questions?
Maybe I will start without raising my hand this time. This is a very similar or identical business model to microloans, if I understand correctly. Am I right about that? Yeah. So I think my recommendation is maybe you should comment somehow on this in your deck, because first of all, are the microloans available in Kenya? If not, then you obviously have the market for yourself. But if they are available, how do you compare? So there's, I'm missing a little bit of the competitive intelligence or like comparing with existing models in your deck.
Yeah. So it's actually, I'll share our data room with the full pitch deck. This was just for this presentation because of the time. Question number one: how we compare to? So we have 2 key players in this sector. three. We have the microloans, and then we have digital credit providers. With microloans, what we compete with is in regards to our interest rates. I mentioned that we offer zero interest rate loans. Don't do. So that's primarily our business model. So that makes us very attractive to farmers. We can easily be accessed. So with microloans, you primarily have to go to that particular institution where they're situated and then access a loan from that point and all that. And there's also a lot of paperwork and a lot of processes involved in regards to that. But with us, you can access this via your mobile, so that makes it very easy. Number two, we work with groups of farmers as opposed to microloans that individuals. And with group of farmers, we're able to ensure so this is now from a business perspective, collateral aspect, as opposed to really struggle with default. Now, as compared to digital credit providers, is in regards to interest rates. The digital credit providers' interest rates go as high as 50% in terms of repayment, and ours is zero, so that makes a difference. But in terms of accessibility, it's the same, because you can also access loans through digital credit providers up your phone for more.
Okay. Thank you.
Your numbers are impressive. How have you been able?
Pardon?
I'm saying your numbers are impressive. So you took 20K from angel and grant funding.
So the whole project started with what it really is now. So our initial grants came from us winning hackathons. Part of the grant money has been from the different awards we've managed to get. So we won almost 4 awards from different stakeholders and players and ecosystem builders. So that has been actually how we've got an angel. But apart from that, also we have also gotten financing from Startup Bootcamp that's in Netherlands. So the VC funding is not listed here because it's what that has been the numbers in terms of
Yeah. So just a quick question then. Apart from funds, what else would help you? What would you need in order to achieve your targets? Because I see you have also, you are also you enter in the crypto world, right? Which is a very different beast. And there are investors in crypto and so on. So my question is, what would you need apart from just funds? And who would be your stakeholders? Who you would like to connect with?
We've been looking at working with different key players, especially the ones that already have roots in Africa. We've so far contacted Rabobank, but we see a number of players like UN and the activities. So we would like that kind of partnership where we come in and finance a specific group of women that are either in their portfolio already, so they're working with them on a hand-to-hand basis. Maybe to answer your crypto bit, I know that part is not really clear. So we offer loans that are zero interest rate by selling data, but we enable these women also create wealth using stable coins. So the reason we enable them create wealth using stable coins is we realize that generally women farmers or farmers in general save through cycles, but now of their money reduces with time because of inflation and currency devaluation. By having these women already in our portfolio, we enable them save through stable coins, which in return would store of their money at any time they need. So that's generally the dynamics and the partners we need. So right now it's more of expansion, getting the right partners, and fundraising generally for also just market expansion and market growth.
Okay, I also think you should get connected with the Loft in Luxembourg. I will also get you connected to them because they would like what you're doing, I think.
Thank you.
Let's connect offline afterwards.
Yeah, sure.
Cool stuff. Any other questions?
It means we are finished. We are done with the pitches.
Yes. Now it's time to vote for.
Very difficult, George. Why are you asking us to do this?
So we'll have, let's say, 5 minutes for voting for the startups. Then we'll have the announcement.
Okay.
So judges, if you have checked your messages, have directly messaged you a link where you can vote for your favorite startup. So
can we speak between judges or not?
Can you? Yes, you can. I think Let me see if the breakout.
But you know, 3 of us already voted.
Yeah, but we all voted for different ones.
It's I just voted and I just found out that 3 of us already voted.
So
Sorry,
I can
George.
be able to do can be able to do a breakout room. So we can have the audience move to the second breakout room. Then we can have the judges at the first breakout room for any inquiry or anything for the vote.
Jonatas, you have to leave the room. Who's Simon? Okay, no, Irini needs to come back. Oh no, I'm gonna stop sharing as well. We're almost there. William Fulton, are we all good? So I'm sorry, are we all good? We're no one else, right?
Kasia, Zsofia, are you there?
Yep.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, shall we stop the recording or do we keep the recording?
No, no, right?